Do, 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 do. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All or None According to Jack with your host, Jack Toledano. It's been a while since I did uh, a Seinfeld episode, so let's get busy and record one. So this one, if you look in the bottom of the screen, I gave you a little hint as to what our subject is going to be today. But before we get into our subject matter, I have a new T-shirt to introduce to everybody. So let's pause and get that T-shirt. And voila, there you go. So my boss, John, whose son works for the New York Mets. Uh, they had these shirts as, I guess, a giveaway. It was Seinfeld night, so coolest thing at Citi Field. Yeah, they were giving out these shirts one night. So uh, Seinfeld insignia and the famous NY for New York Mets. So we won't disparage the Mets. They had a great season this year, but they capped it with a rough postseason. But what are you going to do? Proud to wear this shirt. Uh, Everybody might be curious what the back looks like. So let's pause again and show you the back. This is the back. There you go. A Netflix product. Seinfeld 00. All right. Let's turn this back right side forward because this they don't do labels anymore, but it is a little uncomfortable. Hang on. All right. There you go. Right. So front is showing correctly now. So no more stops, no more changing of shirts, and off we go with our subject matter. And I just noticed, wow, over my head on the top, there's like a wire sticking out in the center of the sign. Weird. Never ever noticed that in 9 seasons of watching the show. Anywho, okay, so I'm going to share. Let's get to it. And there it is. The top 10 episodes of Newman. Hello, Newman. Hi, Jerry. Newman's top 10 episodes. So this is probably the only time you're going to see the foursome down in the lower right there. Of course, it's going to be all pretty much Newman material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my top 10 episodes that involve Newman. So number 10, the chicken roaster. So in that episode, Kramer and Newman discover the Kenny Rogers Roaster restaurant, and they just fall in love with that chicken. And Kramer switches apartments with Jerry, and much to Jerry's chagrin, he becomes Kramer, and Kramer becomes a more sound Jerry. And then, of course, Newman's in the thick of everything, and Jerry catches Newman at the Kenny Rogers Roaster restaurant, and he says, "Newman, hiya, Newman. You wouldn't eat broccoli if it were deep fried in chocolate sauce." Ah, vile weed. Okay. And then, of course, he spilled his guts, and Jerry got his apartment back, and sooner or later, Kenny Rogers Roasters went under. There was one in the town where I live, out on Long Island, but fortunately, that didn't last long. It's now, so then it became, what did it become? For a while, it was a Hooters, and now it's a Green Turtle. Good stuff. Okay, so episode 9, Season 7, The Bottle Deposit. That was the episode. That was a double episode where Kramer and Newman, uh, they actually decide that they can take all their cans and bottles to Michigan and earn an extra nickel per can and or bottle. And all was going great until the uh, the truck started to overheat, and there was too much weight. So Kramer started throwing bottles out of the truck, and finally he kicked Mr. Overweight Newman out of the truck. Uh, Picture you see down at the bottom here, that's actually the episode with the marine biologist where Kramer drops his boot out the window and it hits Newman right smack in the face. But going back to the bottle deposit, as a child, we always used to tell those funny farmer stories about how these people would drive down the road, their car would break down, they'd want to stay at the farmer's house, and the farmer would joke that you just stay away from my daughter. So what does Newman do? He he hooks up with the farmer's daughter and almost gets some buckshot in his back. Meanwhile, the farmer's daughter, I love you, Norman. Too funny. All right. So what's next? Episode 8, The Butter Shave, Season 9. So no really especially funny dialogue except that Newman goes nuts when Kramer decides to sun himself on the roof of his apartment building using butter as suntan lotion. Now, city dwellers do uh, sunbathe up on the roof sometimes, but never using butter. Of course, Kramer did. So Newman goes nuts and pictures Kramer as a Thanksgiving turkey and wants to eat him and takes a bite out of his arm. He bit me. That picture, one of the many confrontations between Jerry and Newman. Hello, Newman. Okay, episode 7, The Soulmate. Newman feeds poetry love lines to Kramer while concealed behind a bookcase at a bookstore. Kramer is trying to subplot that Kramer is trying to steal Jerry's girlfriend. And Newman first reveals his infatuation with Elaine. What does Jerry say? So first there was an Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny chase scene with Jerry and Newman, and then finally catches up to Newman. He says, I thought we were talking about me. Yeah, a lot of funny dialogue between the two. Episode 6, The Boyfriend. Keith Hernandez? I despise him. Something very profound happened that we will never forget. He spit on us. Yeah, so of course, Jerry goes into his second spitter theory. Funny episode all around. Of course, George had a funny subplot that didn't involve anybody, but it had nothing to do with Keith Hernandez, but still very funny. Check it out. Season 3. Next, episode 5, The Raincoats. And of course, the Seinfelds were, Morty and Helen were staying at Jerry's house. So, hello, Newman. Hello, Mrs. Seinfeld. He was moving on that buxom brunette like the stormtroopers through Berlin, and a more disgusting spectacle that I cannot recall. Gotta love Newman. So in this episode, and this didn't make the top 10, it was the episode where both Newman and Kramer decide to start a rickshaw service. So, of course, they're flipping to see who has to pull the other one, and of course, Kramer lost. Funny. Episode 4, The Calzone. Uh, so in this episode, George brings an eggplant calzone, and you have to know, side thought, eggplant is one of my favorite things in this entire world. I love eggplant parm. I love eggplant parm heroes. I love eggplant on pizza. You name it. I love it. I even love eggplant caponetta. Good stuff. Okay. Uh, so George gets a calzone. Steinbrenner gets jealous, so now he's got to start bringing uh, a calzone in every day for Steinbrenner. But of course, George fucks it up somehow. He puts a tip into the tip jar, takes the tip out because the pizza guy didn't see him, so the pizza guy gets all pissed, throws him out. Then he finds out that the that pizza place is on Newman's route in the Bronx. So what does he do? He asks Newman, and they're having that discussion right now. Uh, so he asks Newman to go get a calzone or get a calzone every day for Steinbrenner. So this is the deal that they strike up. I will want my own calzone, and I'd like a slice of pepperoni pizza. And once a week, I shall require a calzone. And then later on, he didn't deliver. I thought you mailmen delivered through the rain, the snow, the sleet, or hail, all of the above. They do. I don't. But I'm paying you. Oh, that's right. Too funny. Yeah, we'll talk more about his mannerisms in a bit. Okay, so on to episode 3, the big salad. So, in the big salad, aside from Laney wanting her big salad and pissing George off like usual. Um, so Jerry's dating this girl. I forget her name. She looked very familiar to the girl who was killed in at the end of episode or beginning of episode 1 on season 4, where Kramer befriends this girl and shows her his movie treatment, and then she ends up getting killed, and they accuse Kramer of being the smog strangler. But anyway, so I digress. So Jerry's dating this girl. He doesn't want to take her out of the apartment, and knocks on the door. Ooh, chocolate. So first he's asking him about Genderson killing a dry cleaner. So then he notices this girl, and he says, so then he leaves. He says hello to the girl, and Jerry's like, "You two know each other?" And then she's like, "Yeah, we dated." You went out with Newman? Why? You like Newman? We went out a few times, and then he ended it. He ended it? Newman? Yes. So funny. So one thing leads to another. So he's having a discussion with Elaine in the coffee shop, and she says, maybe there's more to Newman than meets the eye. And Jerry, I've looked into his eyes. There's less. He's pure evil. So later on, Jerry couldn't kiss the girl because she dated Newman, throws him out of the car. End of another relationship. All right, 2 more episodes to go. Season 4, The Old Man, and a lot of hilarity ensued. Very simple. Kramer and Newman decide that they're going to sell records to make some money. So first they invade Jerry's collection, and they bring the records back. The guy gives them, I don't know, $5 for a whole bunch of used records, and they weren't happy. but they left. So then they find out that the old man that Jerry was going to visit for this, group that he, George, and Elaine joined to sit with the elderly. So the old man was a very crotchety old man, I might add, was giving away a whole bunch of albums. So gets back to Kramer and Newman. So they go and take Grandpa's records. Grandpa kicks Kramer in the ass, bites Newman. A lot of hilarity ensued. And while biting Newman, his teeth fly out and go into the what the hell is that called? The the garbage compactor in the sink. Yeah. So then they had to go get him new false teeth. So then they bring the records back to the record shop, and Kramer's feeding Newman lines to say to the record store guy, "You're a piece of crap. You emit a foul and unpleasant odor. I loathe you." So then, of course, the guy jumps the counter, uh, beats the crap out of Newman, kicks them out of the store, and that was that. But a hilarious episode. All right, so it brings us to our top episode, number one, my best Newman episode, the label maker. So in this slide, so this is Wayne Knight out of character, just being himself. Looks like he has a little bit of a curl there, hair curl there, but he doesn't. So episode one, more hilarity ensues, and the label maker. So Kramer and Newman are playing the game Risk in Jerry's apartment because Kramer's afraid that Newman's going to cheat. And so then they're playing, and Kramer's car's getting towed. So picks up the board. He picks up the whole game board. He's running down the street with a game board with pieces on top falling all over the place, mind you. No, that's my car. So then they're actually those two knuckleheads. They're playing on the board game on the subway. So Kramer makes the stupid statement, "I am going to take the Ukraine. The Ukraine is feeble. It's a sitting duck. It's a road apple. I am going to claim it." So then, of course, there's a Ukrainian man standing up, holding the rail, and he overhears the conversation, and he says, "You not say Ukraine weak." Now, mind you, a year ago, I didn't want to use that line because of the whole war with Russia. I am very sympathetic to the Ukrainian people, but at the time it was kind of funny. Especially funny when the Ukrainian guy smashed the board. And of course, Kramer does one of his famous pratfalls, but doesn't end there. So then there's a ticket mix-up. So Dr. Watley, the dentist, gives a ticket to Jerry or George or whomever, and then he gives a ticket to Newman, in which George says to Jerry, "Who goes to the Super Bowl with their mailman?" So then he regifts. So there's a lot of regifting going on in this episode. Of course, Elaine wanted to regift the label maker from Watley because he regifted the label maker. So she wanted to degift it. So then he degifts the Super Bowl tickets, thinking that he's going to be able to take Elaine to the Super Bowl and score. But she's like, "Well, there are going to be two beds in the hotel room. There's two of us. There should be two beds." So He then he gifts the Super Bowl ticket from Elaine, gives one to Jerry, gives one to Newman. So imagine this, folks. You're a football fan like I am. My beloved Giants have been to the Super Bowl 5 times and they've won 4 times. So this would be a life event for me to go to the Super Bowl and see my Giants in it, especially the first time they beat the New England Patriots. So imagine going to the Super Bowl to see your favorite team, just for argument's sake, the Giants, and your worst enemy sits in the freaking seat next to you and he's overweight. And so Jerry, of course, can you give me an inch? And of course he's talking about all the lost items and that the post office, it's gonna be freebies. So that is it. So let's go back again. Episode 10, the chicken roaster. 9, the bottle deposit. 8, the butter shave. 7, the soulmate. 6, the boyfriend. 5, the raincoats, one of my favorite episodes. 4, the calzone. 3, the big salad. 2, the old man. And number 1, the label maker. So take a good look because I am going to stop sharing in 2 seconds. And we're going to talk about some future events. So I was, so granted, I haven't had a lot of episodes lately, but let me tell you, to be able to give you these quality episodes with these countdowns and on PowerPoint and, all my top 3 metal with all the album covers, there is some work, so it takes a little longer, but I'm also thinking about future episodes that I'd like to bring to you. So when I first started this on December 15th of last year, Seinfeld was one of the main topics that we were going to talk about. So leading up to our 1-year anniversary, I want to do something special. I want to do, and I will do this in multiple episodes. I'm going to do a countdown of my all-time favorite top Seinfeld episodes. I'm not going to say how many, but it's going to be a substantial amount, more than 10 or 15 or 20. So stay tuned. Probably coming up in the next month or so. And it will be held over multiple episodes. So we're going to have some fun with that. In addition, I already mentioned in my my top 3 metal of 2001 that I would be doing a top episode countdown of another sitcom that I've known and loved over the years. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. This is Jack Toledano speaking for all and not according to Jack. Hey, another thing, my subscriber count is getting very close to 500, so please help me out, people. Please subscribe. Please get me to 500. I would love to get there before my 1-year anniversary, so please help me out. Jack Toledano signing off for All or Not According to Jack. Love you all. See you soon. Bye.